Hey everybody, what's up? How's it going? I'm Rook, aka Rookery. Maybe you know me, maybe this is your first video that you've seen, or, you know, for those of you who are watching live on Twitch at the time of this recording, maybe it's the first time we've met each other or you've been here for years. Either way, we are getting together today for patch 6.5. I still haven't done it. As I was talking about before we even started this recording, I'm a little bit behind on this because I had the pleasure this past year of being invited out to be on stage and one of the commentators for the CCRC EU at EU Fan Fest. And at the time of recording, tomorrow is going to be JP Fan Fest. So, you know, I'm cutting it pretty close here with 6.5, but with a lot of other things that have happened in 2023 and now coming into 2024, I knew we were going to have to settle in to do some patch 6.5 and to get to see how the culmination of our story with Zero and the Void miniature arc before we get into Dawn Trail all pans out. I'm so excited. I have heard a lot of mixed things about this one and I'm kind of nervous. It seems like folks either felt like it was underwhelming or everybody was like, Rook, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be so good. You're gonna love it so much. And so I'm over here like, I'm a Gemini, so maybe I'll just feel both. I'm also joined by my cat, Mikote, guest star this time around. The Void Cat, who's here appropriately to help us solve the problems of the Void. Or just to make them worse. Because Senka loves causing trouble on purpose. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get started, and let's start our playthrough of patch 6.5, starting with Seeking the Light. So we're gonna need to go over to Rod's at Han. Let's do this. The last patch kind of left us on a bit of a weird cliffhanger, with a lot of strange stuff having happened in the Void, our Zero-mus equivalent, some revelations about Golbez. My beautiful dragon, who is not going to die. I refuse. Ajdaya is fine. She's gonna be fine. We can't lose any more of the first brood. There's only so many of them. So we're just gonna scrub the Void stink out of her. and then she'll be good as new. Hi, I'm Rook, and this is the story of my hopium journey through 6.5. No, okay, let's actually start. Let's talk to Marshawn.
Ah, Arden. I was about to call for you. There have been developments concerning the Void Gate that I would discuss with everyone. Coincidentally, I am told Ishtola will be returning shortly. I dare to hope she has made some progress in devising a way to harness the First's light. Come, let us await the others in my chamber.
Also, yes, I apologize, as always, as I always do, for my humble voice acting. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. Oh, look how beautiful. Look how beautiful Vitra is. I just want to get up there and snuggle him. We need some more cushions up there, though, by far. We need, like, a huge, gigantic cushion palooza. Zero! I love Zero, too, so much. I missed their beautiful face.
My apologies for the delay. Think nothing of it.
I need like a voice echo filter for when Vitra's on the screen. Big Vitra, not tiny version Vitra.
I pray thou art come with glad tidings. With findings well worth many sleepless nights, I am pleased to report. You may leave it there. Thank you.
I call this box. My thought is, we put a lot of light in it. Then we throw a box in Void and see what happens. Sorry, I'm sure her plan is much better than this.
Eager though I am to hear the details, I must first share tidings of my own, grave ones. Urianger hath sent word from the Void Gate in Mare Lamentorum. The situation is precarious. They continue to rely upon the brands to contain the forces which would otherwise flow freely into the source. Yet, though these measures were sufficient to imprison a fragment of Zodiac for eons, against our enemies' determined onslaught, they are degrading at an unsettling rate. The Loporrits are sparing no effort to sustain the brands, but 'tis only a matter of time ere they fall.
I like when you do the little head wiggly. I just love him. I just love all the dragons too much.
Unless we act soon, there shall be no stopping Golbez from realizing his ambitions. That Zeromus should so test the seal, even when not at full strength. 'Tis every bit as terrible as we feared. Aye, we must needs vanquish it, to which end we require a means to pierce its dark shroud. So, did you find it? A way to bring resplendent light to bear against our foe?
Everybody's like, don't keep us in suspense! Girl, tell us! Dish!
As a matter of fact, I have. It was super easy, simple. Babies could have thought of it, but we harness light from the first and channel it to the 13th. Such a feat would require us to manipulate vast amounts of energy, to say the least.
I like how Zero's also over there like, and your boxes, because of... They're really drawing it out. Oh, they're like the little elegant nodes.
And so I consulted Sid and his fellows, who rose to the challenge and produced bespoke devices, aether transmitters. These marvelous contraptions can be placed at locations of our choosing to facilitate the flow of ether. In other words, we can use them to create ethereal currents.
That's pretty interesting. As of thus far, in 14 and the like world of 14, ethereal currents have largely been, I mean, they are naturally occurring, like, avenues of ethereal flow throughout the world, like the kind of lifeblood of the world in a way, although different from ceruleum, which is another kind of lifeblood of the world. And they exist and kind of have their own network, but while we know that the Alligans did do some things with like draining areas or like cutting areas off, or that places like the Void or the First, right, like if the flow or the ether itself is aspected so drastically towards something that either stagnates or corrupts that flow and connection to the source, then like the natural cycle of how those currents kind of like lead to the replenishment of life and energy and things can get interrupted. But this is kind of the first time that we've seen, at least in the modern era, the ability to create new pathways of ether, which could also maybe restore things like the burn or like guide ether more in like a more directed way to balance different areas, which is kind of interesting. Sander mentions in chat, I was like, I'm not going to look at chat while I do it, but it's going to happen. It'll probably happen. But Sander does mention that we had a prototype of those in Zadnor, which is a really good point, honestly, because Zadnor was kind of an interesting little side excursion, but we had those little ethereal drills that would kind of drill down and tap into the different ethereal currents. Did they actually guide flow? I'm not totally positive, but it is interesting to see this. Okay, back to the cutscene. That such a thing should be possible. We shall first direct ether from Naboth Araeng, where the flood of light was halted, into the Crystal Tower. We all know from personal experience the wonders of which it is capable, wonders which suit our needs perfectly.
I should mention that the knowledge Grahatia acquired from the Archmagus Noah was also a source of inspiration.
Nice to see the, like, Noah info come back a bit. Oh, look at that! Fancy! Interesting! Okay, so they set up little beacons. It was like an ether highway.
Once we have infused the crystal tower with sufficient ether, we shall send it into the rift. And the ether transmitters shall guide the energy onto the 13th, like so.
I wonder if they can also, like, float. So they don't have to just be, like, stationary, because if they're in the rift... you'd think that it might, you know, there's not a lot to kind of, like, hold on to in there. We do know that you can send, like, porksies and stuff into it.
In this way, we shall have a lance of light with which to pierce the shield of darkness.
Pretty cool.
Or so I hope. No tests we performed were close to the scale of what we ultimately seek to achieve. I cannot guarantee success.
Better than nothing. I mean, second one for sure.
It would hardly be the first time we played it by ear.
True enough.
But that's not a point of pride for me, personally.
Just improv a little sometimes, you know? Just try some different things, see what happens.
Science and theory aside, we need to place one or more of these transmitters in the first, I take it. A task we must entrust to you, Arden. Rest assured, I will provide you with what support I can.
Oh, it's time! You know it's go time when the fist comes out.
I wish to go as well. This world that you brought back from the brink, I would see it with my own eyes. But how dost thou intend to make the journey? In a spirit vessel. That's how you and yours managed it, yes? Void-sent summoning also sees the soul separated from flesh. This separation I can do at will. The principles are similar enough. Girlfriend in my pocket! Girlfriend in my pocket, taking her on adventures.
I feel good about this turn of events.
If you aren't averse to traveling with company, I should be glad to lend Zero my vessel.
Get in my pocket, Tamagotchi girlfriend. Both Ishola and I are delighted by Zero. And Zero's many, many hat tips.
Then it's settled. I shall finish preparing the transmitters and then help Zero transfer her soul. Pray see to your own preparations, and then let us reconvene at Megaduta.
Okay. We have a way to pierce the shield of darkness. We have a way to siphon off some of the extra bad light that we have on the first. We've got girlfriend in our pocket, Tamagotchi style. Put her in a Pokeball. Also very interested to see how Zero's going to, like, take in all the different worlds. And the fact that, you know, Zero's trying to, like, reclaim that hope for what could even be done to help something like the Void, right? What seems like it was a completely hopeless situation, and while we've talked about it, this will be kind of maybe the first chance at something akin to proof that, hey, maybe the Void is much farther gone than, you know, the first was, but the first was pretty close to that. And I don't even feel like the first has as much salvageable life on it because of the stagnancy and the light corruption and things like that, whereas, like, at least Void Center, they're sentient. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on there, but they at least have activity, and have, like, some remnant of sentience in them, as opposed to just the, like, stagnancy of light.
Ishtola will be along after she is seen to Zero's soul. Let us await her here. Apologies for the wait. Everything went smoothly. Zero's soul is now safely within the spirit vessel. I shall have the alchemist attend her body until she returns. The vessel I place in your care, along with the transmitters and a set of garments for Zero. I've also included instructions on how to operate the crystal tower, courtesy of Grahatia.
I like that Graha was just, like, really busy with other stuff. Here's the instruction manual. I put it in Google Docs for how to use the crystal tower. Step 1, turn it on. Step 2.
While you're away, I'll join Oriange and the Loporits on the moon. They'll need help should the brands fail. A fine idea. For my part, I shall continue to coordinate our efforts while I recover from my wounds. Given the task at hand, I suggest you speak with Reen. With her power over light, she is bound to be helpful in our efforts. But ere you do that or aught else, seek out Beck-Luke. As the first foremost authority on soulcraft, they should be able to grant Zero a corporeal form. As I recall, the old Numo was rather fond of the Cabinet of Curiosity, so that should be your first stop.
That's all for me. Go forth, Warrior of Darkness, and make your triumphant return to the first. Like, she's just like, I got nothing else. Go on. Get out of here. Get on over. I'm gonna have some espresso. I'm gonna have some coffee. I did my job. I worked hard. You go over to the first, I guess. Say hi to my would-be boyfriend. She'll be really thinking hard. Is like, is there anything else that I, like, forgot? Is there anything else I should say? Nope, that's it. Go on. You finished all the plot we have for you here on the source. How about you go on back to the first? Figure out what's going on over there. Alright, here's our Beck-Luke. So I guess let's do it. Let's talk. Me suddenly flashing back to 5.3 like, what voice did I give this aardvark? I think it was just old fantasy British. We'll do it and see what happens. And you can all go back to the 5.3 video and tell me if it's even remotely close. Is that you, Arden? What brings you back across the rift? Honestly, first you ask me to extract another soul from a spirit vessel, and then you tell me you have designs to channel light into the void? Wicked White Arden, is nothing ever simple with you? Oh, I suppose some people can't help but find themselves at the center of world-changing events. Very well. If your home is in peril, then I shall do all in my power to aid you, and if it helps Anukalai with his work, all the better. They mentioned it! They have not forgotten. They mentioned Anukalai. Now, I'm curious, does this line show up if you haven't done the Void quests from Endwalker? I don't know. I would hope that it does either way, so that even if you haven't done those, they just like assume, and that for whatever future expansion, those characters are going to actually play a role. That would be my hope. That would be my hope. Oh, okay, but since we are recording this live, at the time of recording, let me just say that chat has confirmed that it does not show up if you have not done the Void quests. Interesting. So, kind of a la, initially, the first run of Shadowbringers, before they removed this from the game, right? Initially, if you had not done and completed all of the Crystal Tower quests, you would have different dialogue with Grahatia towards the end of Endwalker, where, like, he wouldn't recognize you, and you wouldn't recognize who he was, which is interesting. But it did lead to a discrepancy in the interactions and emotional impact of those moments. And then eventually, of course, they made it mandatory to finish the Crystal Tower raids, to play through Endwalker, and then they removed that variation. So I can't help but wonder if in the future, if they end up making the Void quests somehow mandatory, or like removing them somehow from the optional role quests and like making them their own thing. I don't know how they would do that. Maybe they'll just have some other kind of like onboarding route or something for players who didn't do that, if those characters end up actually being relevant down the road, if we go more large scale to the Void. I don't know. Interesting there that they have that variation. I'm glad they do, but intriguing. While I tend to your companion, you should go and speak with Reen. By all accounts, she practically lives at the Hortorium these days. I will look for you there once I've finished. I love that for her. She became a little botanist. We'll have to see. I just want to know how Reen and Gaia are getting along, how their relationship is going. Do they need any, sibling advice or anything like that? I like just seeing where everybody has, like, hidden themselves Where's Waldo style. It's very good. The Hortorium is down here, right? Like, she's back here. I'm actually glad to see some quests make use of this space, because maybe there's more that you actually get to see with some of the stuff with, like, I don't know, side quests and things from Endwalker. But I always thought that, or from Shadowbringers, I should say, I always thought that this area down here was so cool and so beautiful. I wanted there to be, like, a whole thing that happened here, so it's nice to see them actually use it a little bit more as a part of some of the landscape or story, because it's just, like, a really cool set piece that's down here. Our daughter! Hi, baby, how's it going? How are you doing?
Restoring the elements to the empty may allow life to flourish there once more.
It's voiced!
But that isn't enough to return the environment to the way it was. No, we need to gradually reintroduce life, beginning with plants.
I am so proud of her. Look at her owning herself. Look at her pursuing dreams. Look at her having an adorable girlfriend. Look at her just living her life. Learning about all kinds of things to bring nature and beauty back to the world on her own terms, not just as, like, a servant of Hydaelyn. I love this.
Not just any plants, though, but those that won't be a burden on a weakened land.
Gotta build it up from scratch. Introduce some things that'll help build the foundation. Add some more stuff. Her animations are really cute. Aw, this is so precious. How about coffee plants? I actually don't know if those are good for the soil, so I'm not going to say that. You've become quite the scholar.
Oh, what a welcome surprise.
It's me again.
It seems you caught me rambling to myself. How embarrassing.
That was very cute and adorable and endearing. Don't worry about it.
I've been studying botany, you see. Hoping that the knowledge would help our work in the empty. But never mind that for now. What brings you to the Crystarium? It was my understanding that the final days were behind us.
I really love that at this point, if people see the Warrior of Light show up, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. It's so wonderful to see you. Is a bad happen? Is it a bad though? Just tell me straight up. Just before we get coffee, just tell me like right now, is the world ending again? Is that why you're here? Or like, is it just coffee? Is it all over for real this time? Or, oh, just coffee. Okay. It's hard being the Warrior of Light, you know? You know, you're everybody's greatest hope, but also everybody's butts clench just a little bit when they see you, because what needs hope now that they don't know about yet to despair over? So, good here. Nothing too bad. Don't worry about it. Nothing's gonna happen to the first, but we do need to steal some of your light a little bit, so. I am really glad that they are continuing on with expanding off of the Eden raids, particularly the Eden raids, because that was like a lot.
You wish to combat this otherworldly threat with the power of light?
Just finish that thought really quick. That was a lot. There was a lot hidden in the Eden raids, where the Eden raids really honestly are like the closest thing. I mean, we have 5.3, right? But there's so much world setup, and there's so much stuff about the first in those raids, let alone even like the whole actual nature of the, you know, light wardens and everything else. And like, if you have not done those raids, it's not, in my opinion, they're not some of the best written raids in the game. It's hard to say, because I really think that that's a particular 8-man raid that feels like it should have been very closely interwoven into the main story of Shadowbringers, and that it almost could have been a whole thing in and of itself, just specifically interwoven into the larger narrative of the expansion, where you have all these characters introduced and everything else. So with the amount of time that they had and the amount of grounds that they had to cover with the introduction of the new characters and the backstory and the history of the Flood of Light and everything else, and the Ascians behind it and everything, I mean, they tried to cover a lot of ground in them, but I think it lost a little bit of its focus and some of its greater impact because it was a little more vague in that. But it's nice to see that they are actually like building off of that and integrating it into the ongoing landscape of the world, as opposed to it just being this like isolated thing that's over there like, oh yeah, maybe we're gonna fix the first. It's actually nice to see them reference it and talk about how the first is actually trying to recover. Otherwise it would just feel like this weird thing that happened in a little bubble on the side that was really important but didn't really have a place in the main story and was sort of optional content if you had gone through those raids. So it's nice to see them integrate it more fully this way.
Please, let me help. Though I've lost my connection to Hydaelyn, I can still manipulate light to a degree.
Light Mage? Our new class coming? Being announced tomorrow, JP FanFest?
If I could save others with that power, then I have to try.
That'd be so cool. I would love that. Oh yeah, Reed, you have your dark mode girlfriend.
'Tis done. Zero is now with us.
This
in
is
the
my dark
flesh.
mode girlfriend. So you've got Gaia, I've got Zero. This is just how it is. We can all go out together. We can be your mentors, you know. You can be our little gabies.
The spirit vessel I shall hold on to for operating the tower. This will help me to make sense of the controls, will it?
Try turning it on and off again. Graha's like, I was eating a snack once and it did fall down into part of the equipment. So if there's any problems, you're going to want to get like a little sponge on a stick and just like scrub down in there. Sometimes I would have to do that just to try and get the cords all fixed again.
There's a levity in his words that wasn't there before.
Aww.
It heartens me to know he is well.
He happy.
I shall see to the preparations as per his instructions.
My thanks for your help.
Zero's voice still so good.
Think nothing of it. That said, 'tis customary that my kind receive fitting payment for services rendered.
Who would win? Who would win in insisting on getting payment? A void set or a fairy? Beck looks like, money please. Thing of value please. Zero's over here like, oh no, I get that completely. Absolutely. Do you want to lick my ether, or is something else, a different, an apple? I don't have anything here. What do you want?
Not unlike we void sent then. In that case, you may devour some of my ether.
Are you mad?
Beck looks like
I'll do
gross.
no such thing.
Disgusting.
It is absurd.
I'm not gonna lick your ether.
Now, let's calm down. We all have our preferences, and I'm sure no offense was intended.
Zero, I will lick your ether all day. In a not spicy way. Clearly, just like an innocent way the void sent do that. No offense was intended. Your ether is just as beautiful and powerful and strong and
I shall
majestic as you are.
attend to the tower now. The rest, I leave to you.
It's okay, don't worry, Zero. We'll figure out a better bartering system for you with the Fae.
Zero, was it? My name is Reen. It's a pleasure to meet you.
This world isn't what I expected. While light is indeed strong here, it's not pervasive or overwhelming. Everything looks much as it does in the source.
Well, it was halted, and this is a place where it's not all messed up.
We have the Warrior of Darkness to thank for that.
Was it who? What, me? No, it just happened.
If you're interested, I would be glad to show you around.
I like that Arden's like, go on, make friends, go on. Yeah. Get a tour, walk around. The music. It is actually kind of just absolutely wonderful to see all these worlds coming together in a sense. Like these different bits of the expansions, and we've talked so much about, will the Void Quests ever be relevant, and all this other stuff, and the Eden Raid, and it's one thing that 14 never fails to just astonish me with. The way that they can so purposefully bring together all the narratives across all the expansions,
Just
across
an
all the
ordinary
ideas.
sky. Ordinary and beautiful.
And then have these moments of emotional impact and payoff, where a character that has never had anything to do with Shadowbringers now comes here and finds hope again in a place that we once came to that was devoid of hope. Like, this is why I love Final Fantasy XIV so much. I tell people all the time, if you're willing to invest in the story will invest back in you. And that's not always something that I can say. And not every story beat is gonna resonate with everybody equally, and not every payoff is going to always hit home for everyone. But at least they try. At least they try, and they actually bring things together, and they weave it into one big narrative, as opposed to so many other games that just abandon entire expansions, abandon entire major characters, side characters, relevant side quests, story content, all kinds of stuff, just because, like, oh yeah, well, that's not what's popular right now, and we have a new expansion, so we're gonna dump everything else. Like, I love that they bring everything together.
To think that after so much loss, they could reclaim this.
Growing Light! Oh, that's the title! Oh no! I even took a talk break and I still saw it pop up and then immediately started to tear up. Aww. There's hope for a new day. And Growing Light leading to Dawn Trail. I see what you did there. I see what you did there! Oh, very good. I love seeing these worlds collide. I also love that just a, like, canonical couple situation in the world of 14 is just light mode, dark mode. I love that. I stand by that. Everybody should have their light mode or dark mode partner or partners.
We restored peace to the world, and I want to ensure that peace is preserved. That's why I'm learning everything I can. I've heard something of your deeds here, of how the Warrior of Darkness fought on, despite light ravaging her very being. Had I the selfsame strength of spirit, perhaps I could have done more for my world. No, it isn't over yet. The 13th isn't beyond saving. That's why we're here. So, where to? Just lead the way.
See, look at you turning that sad attitude around. Channeling that hope, that optimism. Fighting even through the darkest of times for any glimmer of light.
I see they use aetherites here as well. Not that I'll be able to, having not attuned to any. I trust you're willing to walk with me.
I will walk anywhere with you. I would walk 500 miles. Okay, not voice acted, but we did get a little voice acted bit, so I'll take what I can get.
Let's head for Araeng. Since Zero can't teleport to the aetherite there, we should probably travel by Amaro.
Oh, Lena! You want to know about your grandpa? Grandpa is thriving. He is younger than ever. He is doing so great. Ah, there you are. Thank goodness I'm not too late.
Lena, I take it Beck Luke told you why she's here.
More or less. Greetings and welcome. I am Lena, captain of the guards here at the Crystarium.
Zero, is there something you require?
When I learned of your plan to gather light at the Crystal Tower, I felt compelled to warn you of the potential repercussions. I know well that you would never use the tower for ill, nor without due caution. Even so,
I believe I understand.
ever since the flood, light has been a source of pain and misery. Some fear it still, no doubt. Which is to say that some would be uncomfortable at the sight of it wielded as we intend. That is your concern, is it not?
Precisely. It was light that nearly consumed our world. To use the crystal tower to harness this destructive force risks turning the tower into an object of fear. You may convince the Crystarium of the necessity of your cause, but it will not be so easy to win over those outside our walls. I worry this will undermine the fragile trust that we have only begun to build with some communities. They may misunderstand your intentions.
Well, can we just, like, write them a little note? Drop them a line?
Tell me who they are, and what misunderstandings they may have. I shall allay their concerns.
Look at Zero helping people out, soothing people's worries.
Arden and I will go with her. People know us. Our presence will put them at ease. Thank you. I realize this will delay the execution of your plans, but I see no other way. As for where to begin, I dare say Eulmore would be as good a place as any. Though ours is an amicable relationship now, we were at odds for long years. Eulmore was once ruled by a tyrant who wielded the power of light. Though he promised salvation, in truth, he made slaves of his subjects, and also turned their bodies into, like, biscuits. Like little dinner rolls, like a Soylent Green kind of situation, and sought to destroy any who defied him. He's gone now, thankfully, and a good man named Chai News was elected mayor. Relationships between our cities have improved much since then. And also, they don't eat people anymore, so... Or once people. It depends on what you consider sin eaters to be. Even so, there's a lingering rivalry between us. If the Crystarium were to harness light without warning, some Eulmorans might suspect we have ulterior motives. Thus, would it be prudent to give them prior notice? If you explain that you seek to save the Warrior of Darkness's home, though, I should hope that they would give you their blessing. Once again, yours is a name that commands respect and trust in the domain of your former enemies, as it does in Garlemald. Yours can too, Zero. We've got the same hat. We might be the same person. I will cling to the hope that she is a shard of us for all time. That's my little red wagon that I'm pulling behind me like a child in an old-timey comic, and I will not let go of it. That is me. That's my hope. Where else should we visit? After Eulmore, I would suggest the Raktika Greatwood. There you'll find the Knights Blessed, a small collective which worships darkness as well as the V's, guardians of the secrets of ancient Ronka. The V's are insular and will likely not object unless the light encroaches upon the territory. The Knights Blessed, on the other hand, would greatly benefit from your assurances that your actions will not adversely affect their lives. People who worship darkness. Fitting for a world all but consumed by light. Very well, we will treat with the people of Eulmore and the Knights Blessed. Here, take these whisper weeds. I will let you know when all is in readiness with the tower. Whisper weeds? Is that what they call link pearls? Was this lore that I just missed up until this point? Or is this the first time we've heard tell of this? Because I love this. I mean, when you think about it, link pearls are as nonsensical as the word whisper weeds. Although I guess, like, link pearls are like small things you insert in an ear, so they link you and they kind of have a round pearl-like shape. But whisper weeds is a new one to me. Do they look different than link pearls? Or they kind of like, do they have like a
sticky outy bit? Are they like a handheld? I have some questions.
Right then, I should tend to my own tasks.
Explaining the situation to the people of the Crystarium, and arranging for your transmitters to be placed here and in Araeng.
We're truly grateful. Thank you, Lena.
That's her equivalent of the... Everybody has their thing. Zero's got the, you know... We got it.
Come, let's head to Eulmore. Hopefully Chai News will know how best to present our plan to everyone.
Okay, let's go! Off we go! So we're gonna have a little bit of a visit. We're gonna go around, we're gonna tour around. Touch base with all the stuff that's happening on the first. Sounds good. Hopefully nobody's gonna be too upset about, you know, us needing to do this. But I feel like we've forged our own bonds of trust with all of these people. And it feels very logical to me that they would accept our word on it, right? I mean, especially with a lot of the post-Shadowbringer stuff that we did, like getting Chai News elected mayor. We haven't done as much with the former group that, the Knights. They literally just said it in the cutscene and my brain is like, it's gone. The Knights Blessed. We haven't done as much with them, minus some of the stuff with like Ishtola's parting and things. So it'll be interesting to kind of hear how they're living their life in this world and with all the different revelations. But I'm very interested. Okay, let's talk with everybody that's gathered here because we got a lot of them.
Look, Dulia Chai and Rendon are here too. Between the three of them, we should be able to get some good advice.
This is the great and powerful leader of Eulmore. He must be possessed of subtle qualities that make him uniquely suited to the position. Ardenreen! Oh, what a wonderful surprise this is. And you've even brought a new friend. Greetings, War of Darkness. If you've come out of concern for our esteemed mayor, fear not. He runs the city well, and as ever prefers to work closely with the people, the better to hear their voice.
Good gods, if it isn't Arden! To what do I owe the pleasure? Not another world-ending threat, surely not, surely not.
There's a sensitive matter about which we thought it best to consult the city's esteemed mayor. I doubt I'd ever describe myself as such, but anyway, I can tell you're up to something. The kind of something I might want nothing to do with, but regardless, I should probably know. What is it? So it's like another world like this, but it's like a world of darkness, and you've got a lot of light. So like we need to like shed some light up there in that dark house. Also, there's like a really mega evil giant thing that's there that could probably destroy everything. So we gotta take care of that. Gathering light with the Crystal Tower, you say? I would be lying if I said that doesn't bring back unpleasant memories. And I believe I speak for most Eulmorans.
We can hardly blame you.
We have no reason to question your motives, of course. Neither yours nor those of the Crystarium's leadership. A world engulfed in darkness, its corrupted inhabitants attempting to invade your own. Oh, it's rather a lot to process, but the desire to save one's home is something anyone can understand. I'm touched that you show such concern for our feelings despite the gravity of your plight. Ah, very well. You have my support. As if there was any doubt. Right, let's gather the people at once. An explanation from you ought to ensure everyone understands.
Not so fast, dearest. If I were to reveal everything at this juncture, many would be deeply unsettled, regardless of any assurances I offered. No, we need to set the stage, spread word of the Warrior of Darkness's plight, that she is on a mission to save her world as she once did ours. Once the tale is common knowledge, I shall call an assembly and explain the need to harness the power of light to a populace far more amenable to the idea. To that end, might I trouble you to speak with our citizens about your predicament? 'Twould be more effective to hear the details from the hero herself, more likely to inspire solidarity for your cause. So we appeal to the desire to aid the Warrior of Darkness to present light in a more positive light. Well played, Master Chai.
If it's best that you do the talking, then we'll come with you.
Fine by me. I'm content to observe. Once you've finished your rounds, I ask that you report to me. I should like to know how the people react.
Lead the way, Arden. We'll be right behind you. Go talk to many NPCs. Come back. I will say that this is one thing that I kind of would like to see them maybe lean a little bit away from in Dawn Trail. It's not to say that I don't like going around and talking to different NPCs, because I do, and I think you can learn a lot about, like, a place, you can discover things, the people that live in that place, but I did feel like in Endwalker there were quite a few different areas where a lot of it, as opposed to being like, go kill 5 gremlins, come back and bring me their fur, it's like, go talk to 5 random people located in a massive area, get like tiny snippets of dialogue from them, and then come all the way back here. For me, I felt like some of the more compelling and engaging and interesting kind of moments came from some of the stuff that they did in Endwalker, like the, get back to your body mission, or those kind of like playable expanses where there's a bit more action and you have the kind of unique duty instances. And I'd like to see them kind of build out around some of those story beats, or find other ways to expand their storytelling beyond just like, go talk to 5 random people and then come on back. Like, I'd love to see there be more kind of variety of ways that you are exploring a place or going around or making discoveries, and having different kind of like, cutscenes or interactions within those that you might get. That's just me personally, but I feel like they've really relied on it very heavily recently. Not that they haven't for the whole game, but it would be something that would also be, I think, advantageous for them to take a look at how they design quests and maybe adding more of a variety of different options of things.
Well, Lena and Master Chai couldn't be more different. They're both mindful of how their actions may affect others. They're both good leaders, and there's much I hope to learn from them. From that conversation alone, I could see how much the people here trust you. Thanks to Euless and Thancred, I've grown better at recognizing it.
What? You've met Thancred too? Oh, right. Of course you have. I don't know why I said that. Right. Let's find some citizens to speak with. I suggest we start here in the canopy before heading down to the understory and then the derelicts. Aha! Accompanying! Excellent. Okay, so let's see. We've got a talking point over here. So we'll go through. And we'll pop in and see what everybody has to say. It's sweet that Reen, like, it has to be so difficult because, again, not every world knew that a bunch of other worlds were out there. Or even if they knew of the shards or theoretically knew about it, the reality of that is really different. And the fact that, like, all these people that were so important, like Thancred, Tareen, have just vanished, in a lot of ways has to feel like they died. You know what I mean? Even though they know rationally that they didn't. So, like, of course Reen would be surprised, where it's like, oh yeah, if Zero was on the source, and right, that's where Thancred is, and Thancred is there living an entire life It has to be startling to like remind yourself of that over and over. It'd be really different if they were able to more freely travel between the shards and actually see those other worlds themselves. But it's kind of good at the same time that maybe at this point they can't, because I feel like the influx of refugees from many of the different stars would be like way too much for any one place to handle, and they need to like focus on, you know, recuperating the actual homes that they all come from. Chris is over here dancing on the stage, doing his set. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see what they both have to say here. A tavern, and an extravagant one at that. But those dancers engage with the poles in such strange ways. Are they pantomiming a battle? A soldier thrusting their spear into the ground and using it to launch themselves at an enemy, perhaps? Nope! Try again! Given this world's violent history, it makes sense that displays of martial prowess would become popular entertainment. No, Zero, it's about thirstiness! It's about lust. We'll tell you about it when you're older. Thinkard once told me that people come to these places to savor some memories and drown the others. I imagine the beehive was built primarily to help Eulmorans forget about sin eaters, if only for a time, but now they can simply enjoy themselves. I can see the appeal, but don't worry. I know I'm still a bit too young for it. Rain, you stay sweet and innocent for a little bit longer, okay? For a little bit longer. Oh, I used to live for the moment, not caring what might happen on the morrow. But now that we have peace, I find myself thinking about the future and feeling anxious. What? Your home is threatened with destruction. Wicked White, why are you wasting time in a drinking hole? Ugh. But as I say it, I feel the sting of hypocrisy. Gods, I need to take control of my life. I need to face my troubles head on. And the same goes for you. Thanks, I'll do that for sure. I will do that for sure. Okay. I love that, like, the daytime music in here, it's like you come outside and it's just like, blessed your ears off, blessing them off. Every single time. Let's actually take the teleporter. Also, can they do something? Can they do something about the, like, hovels outside? Because that might also be something that would be pretty important to maybe up that housing situation, try and build some places, because just having this outside is still not a good look for Eulmore. Still not a good look for Eulmore. Okay, let's continue though. We're gonna get our next bit of dialogue here from our friends. Maybe they'll have some words about all of this. It does look like they've put in some stuff here. Renovating resident, okay. They're making use of the golems, it looks like. Sort of putting together some of the rubble, maybe trying to look to build more permanent dwellings. So maybe what I was talking about is actually being addressed, and this is part of how they're kind of talking about that right now, which is really nice. There's also this whole island over there that, like, you can see it behind me right now, that has this whole structure. I can only assume that must be part of the extension of what we consider to be Eulmore, perhaps actually more where, like, the residents live. But that's kind of the equivalent of the, Siren Lighthouse Island, and I'm so curious about that. So curious about it. This whole, like, area could become such a big kind of city in and of itself, which is really fascinating in the future when they've continued to rebuild. That thing there cleaning the debris. For a moment I thought it might be a void scent. In case you didn't know, it's not uncommon for our kind to use statues as vessels. But I see now that it's more akin to the mechanical soldiers used by the Garleans. They come in all shapes and sizes, don't they? They do! When Volthy tried to keep us out of the city, many free citizens died in the chaos. Some had no kin to inherit their wealth, and so Eulmore decided to use it to help fund the reconstruction of the derelicts.
It's part of a greater effort to improve the living conditions down here, which is important since there's simply not enough room for everyone in the city proper.
I mean, yeah, there's gotta rebuild it. It's pretty important. I wonder if they'll do like an instance thing ever here to like show kind of like how, not like it doesn't have to be fully instanced, but you know, sort of like how Mordona had its renovation or stuff like that.
You're the Warrior of Darkness. I never dreamed I'd have the honor, but why are you in Eulmore, if I may ask? Your home is in danger and you've come seeking help. If there's anything we can do for you, you need only ask. Things could be better here, of course, and we've got a long road ahead of us, but we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you and yours. And we'll never forget that.
Thanks, buddy! It's nice to see some of the fancier folk down here helping out, you know what I mean? I think that those golems have been there since 5.1. Oh, nice! But they're kind of like drawing more attention to them, and that's good at least. That's good at least. Okay, so we need the understory as well. So let's get in there. Let's also get a little bit hydrated, so let's get some water.
Well, now, Warrior of Darkness and the Oracle of Light both. How may I be of service? Your enemies plot to invade your world? Oh, having heard tales of sin eaters ravaging countless villages, your plight feels all too familiar. Come what may, I urge you to remain strong. You overcame the Light Wardens. You can overcome any adversity. And for what it's worth, I'm sure everyone here would be willing to help in whatever way we can.
Thanks! Appreciate it! Okay, then let's head back up top. Okay, everybody seems chill. They seem positive. We kind of hoped that.
So the people are of one mind in their desire to help. Oh, good, good.
Why, just earlier, I overheard a conversation about how the Warrior of Darkness is seeking to save their home. Your tale is spreading quickly.
Then the plan has unfolded precisely as you envisioned. All that remains, then, is to assemble the citizens and explain Arden's need to gather light. For better or worse, I'm mayor of this city. I'll do my best to win them over. Wait, aren't you?
Oh, that's his voice, and I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it.
Yes, you're here. The young lady who saved me from Fall3. I'd eaten enough mule to fall under his control, but you cured me. I wouldn't be alive today if not for you. Oh, I remember you too. I'm glad to see you're doing well. I only learned later that it was the Oracle of Light herself who saved me. Saved all of us. I didn't know if I'd ever get the chance to express my gratitude. I'm sure it was nothing for someone with your power, but thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Goodbye, soft-spoken man.
What is this mule?
So you know, Zero, how we talked about eating people? Making them into little bread buns? Yeah, that's what that is.
Food made from the light-tainted flesh of sin eaters, you say? I see. The more they ate, the more the light's corruption spread. Right. And because of that, they became susceptible to Fall3's commands, as he could make the Sin Eaters do his bidding. Thankfully, I was able to suppress Light's influence and free everyone from his control, and there seems to be no lingering effects. You say that as if it was some small feat. I've seen countless souls corrupted by darkness. Someone with the power to heal them would be regarded as a great figure, and never know peace.
Gaia? Gaia? Is it in the year 2024? Is it finally time for the Oracle of Darkness to have some relevance? Beyond just being a cute goth girlfriend? Is it actually happening? Is this the real life? Is this real? Oh my gosh, they're gonna have to make the Eden raids and the Void quests mandatory for whatever expansion far way off, Dusk Hike we're gonna get to be the complement to Dawn Trail. Oh my gosh.
My gift has been a burden. Many have suffered for it, died for it. There were times when I wished I didn't have it, when I wanted to run away from everyone and everything. But I had friends to encourage and guide me, to help me learn not just to embrace my gift, but to take charge of my life, to change my fate. That's what friends are for. That's what friends are for. Learning the power of friendship. My favorite story trope.
And so you did just that. I think it's my favorite because, like, I myself would not be where I am without the people that I love so dearly, you know? Without our community, without my friends, without, like, all the people along my way. Gosh, even, like, exes, you know? That have, like, brought so much love or have helped me along that journey, played a major role. Bebop, like, love in our lives and all the different forms that it takes, like, can be so important. Whether it comes from, like, family or found family or anything across the whole spectrum of relationships. So I think that's why it resonates with me, but I will always continue to make silly jokes about it because it's always cheesy, but it always gets me right in the feelios. So good. So good.
The people of this world are resilient indeed. When I tended to people after Vol3 fled, I wasn't sure how much of a difference it would make. It's a relief to see that so many I treated are alive and well.
I honestly had forgot about her doing that, so I'm really glad the story brought that back up again. Brief though it was wonderful to see you. Do visit again soon. Hopefully when the fate of the world isn't weighing on your mind. My thanks again for your consideration, Arden. The rest you may leave to us. We appreciate the Crystarium's concern for the welfare of our people. May we continue to strengthen the ties between our two cities.
That a half-void scent like me managed to escape the flood of darkness. For all these years, I never stopped to wonder why. To wonder if I had a greater part to play. Well, perhaps it's time I took charge and considered what I might be able to do for others. The answer is here in the first, and I will find it.
I really like these themes that they are working in. Because I think this is something that, especially too coming out of some of the climate, coming out of things like the pandemic, political climates around the world, stuff like that, right? The idea of even when there's a lot of stuff that seems pretty hopeless that's piling up, how you hold on to hope, that was like a big thing with the Endwalker, right? How you hold on to hope, what you fight for, who you remember, comfort in the most trying of times. But I like that this follow-up and this kind of theming here with 6.5, the idea of not just that, not how do we just find comfort and hope in times where it seems as though we don't have any. And how do we encourage one another and hold tight to one another, even in times where it might drive us apart. But I like this with Zero a lot, because I think the next part of the equation coming out of all of this is also, how do I take responsibility for the things that I can do, even with my limited power, right? How do I uplift people around me? How do I embrace myself, my own strengths? However meager it might seem, how do I get involved? How do I make change even on the smallest of scales in my own life and for people around me? And I think that's something that, like, is a really important follow-up, because a lot of times I think we can cling to just, like, our emotion and our emotion state and that kind of landscape and forget that there's, like, another component outside of ourselves, outside of even just, like, heroic narratives, which is to embrace and act, you know, to act on those things. And I love that. I think it's important. As well as just like taking responsibility for ourselves and the things that we can change and the ways that we can improve ourselves as people, and improve our own life and the lives of others around us. It's cool. I like it. If we have no further business here, let's move on. Where to next?
Slitherbow, the home of the Knights Blessed in the Raktika Greatwood, will explain the situation to their leader, Runar.
Runar's gonna be like, how is my wife? Is she okay?
I've not visited here in some time, but it's much as I remember, which is good.
Little wonder those who revere darkness would gather here. Yet dark as this wood may seem, it is a blazing torch next to the void. Voiced? Unvoiced? Probably unvoiced since the last one was.
Arden, you're a sight for sore eyes, my friend. Will you be staying long in Slitherbow? Though, having said that, I suspect this isn't just a social call.
They're both pretty much the same thing.
We need to speak with you as leader of the Knights Blessed. It's important. Ah, so it is more of a formal visit. That's fine. Why don't we get right to it, then?
Yeah, so... I always like to insert my own ridiculous, like... I don't know, like, dumb little, you know, synopsis of what I think the Warrior of Light is saying in those breaks.
What? Your world, Master Matoya's world, is in grave danger.
Master Matoya.
Ishtola. She took another name in accordance with custom when she lived among the Knights Blessed. They believe light taints everything that it touches, even their true names. Out of respect, don't speak hers here. Cultural! Learning cultural stuff! You are Zero, yes. The one come from a world consumed by darkness. I struggle to conceive of such a place.
A pitch-black pall shrouds the sky, which neither the light of the sun nor the stars can pierce. It is the opposite of what you once knew here in Norfront. That being the case, I'm sure you can relate to our situation.
All too well. You have my deepest sympathies. And in order to beat back the darkness in your world, you would harness light from ours.
He's like, okay.
Yeah, cool. Hell yeah. Hell to the yeah. Hold on. Somebody time this. This is gonna be my longest hell yeah yet. Hell.
Yeah. I'm kidding. Sorry.
Tis a simple yet brilliant idea. Only Master Matoya could have conceived of such. That Norvrant is still in her thoughts. that we are still... That you are.
So, you're not opposed to our plan?
We Knights Blessed may place our faith in the dark, but we have never sought to force our beliefs upon others.
Something more people should learn a lesson from.
If your deliverance lies in light, then by all means avail yourselves of it.
I'm surprised. From what I was told of your people, I was certain you would disapprove of our methods.
Do not mistake our reverence for darkness as a desire for it to be ascendant. Rather, in darkness there is a peace that we seek to make our own through prayer and self-reflection. And while light may have wrought suffering in our world, Anything in excess can be harmful, even darkness, as you and yours know all too well. It is the wielder who is righteous or evil, not the weapon. If you would wield light for a noble cause, then who are we to deny you? An easy thing for me to say now that night has been restored to our world. Perhaps. Nevertheless, I wish you the best in your fight, Zero. May light shine your way in the darkness.
Yeah, people can be nice sometimes, I know. It's hard to realize. It's hard to remember, but it's true.
Now then, to mark this joyous occasion, I must offer you a proper welcome to Slitherbow.
Feast? You might find this interesting, Zero.
If you say so. Right! Let us begin with the customary greeting. Arden, I trust you remember how to announce yourself as a friend of the Blessed.
Do I? Oh, it's been a while. It's been like many years since Shadowbringers, more than I would guess. More than I would guess. Can you believe it has been 2 years since Endwalker? Let alone Shadowbringers. Gosh. No, Runar, I do not. Please remind me. We will do our greeting here in a moment.
Our first visit here was nerve-wracking but exciting. I'll never forget how the villagers warmed to me when I spoke the words. This is a watchword, I take it.
Something like that. I do really like their bow, like how it covers the eyes. It's very cool.
Friends old and new, I bid you welcome to Slitherbow. Alan Tuta. What does it mean? In the language of Ronka, it is one of several ways one might say, good evening. This greeting allows us to quickly discern friend from foe. A simple expression, but in a world bereft of night, the words held deep meaning. They were a reminder of the world as it was, when the sun and the moon and the stars yet danced across the sky, and we wished one another well as the day gave way to night. A communal tradition, so the words serve to bind us. Indeed, we are no longer strangers, you and I. Next, we shall have you cleansed of light's impurities. Present yourself to Davith in yonder room. He will be glad to assist you.
Let's go get you cleansed, Zero. You are dirty. Filthy. You've been steeped in dark for so long, but you came here and the light just got its filth all over you. So we gotta go ahead and take care of that.
It's nice to guide a new friend through the same experiences, isn't it?
That is like the catchphrase for any time you get a friend involved in any MMO and your friend is like, oh, I don't want to make you have to run this whole thing with me. That'd probably be so boring. And it's just like, cut to Reen, and it's nice to guide a friend. It's so true, though.
No sooner had I greeted this Davith than he poured a pot of water over me. I wasn't expecting a literal cleansing.
Well, time to get wet. Sorry. Hydration is important, everybody.
Ah, there you are. Your friend has just been cleansed. How do you feel? Wet, but otherwise no different. I would have been surprised if you'd said otherwise. Even so, it is customary to cleanse ourselves of light with water blessed by our priests. But you have darkness again, do you not? Why continue the custom? Why, for the same reason that it was conceived. To pray for the safety of friends and visitors alike, as we pray for yours this eve. Safe travels, friend, and may blessed shadow keep you.
Right. If that's all,
let's return to Runar and see if there's any other customs I must observe.
Zero, you're gonna get into it. Just you wait. You can get into it. I'll believe.
Come on, Arden.
They need to have like a magical dry yourself kind of thing, because you're gonna catch a chill if you're like on your way out and it's a cold night and you get doused with water. Gotta have something to like dry you off before you leave. Even just like a little towel, you know.
The memories of those I've met and the bonds we forged will always be a part of me. Zero may find these moments strange now, but one day she'll look back on them fondly. How does Zero like our welcoming customs, I wonder?
Zero's like, they're fine. I don't... It's cool, I guess. Good job.
I've undertaken the ritual.
Aww. Okay, Zero's feeling feels.
And while I can't explain it, I feel more confident than I did before. Just a touch. Yes, feel your feelings. I'm glad to hear it. With the warrior of darkness at your side, I've no doubt that you will save your two worlds. If we can defeat Zero Miss, then the source would be safe. But nothing would change for my own world. There would just be one less void sent to struggle over scraps with the rest. Is that so? Forgive me. I spoke out of turn. It's fine. I was under no illusion.
This is character growth. You love to see it. Cut from the, like, complete apathy at the start of this to the, I wish it could be different. Dreams begin with wishes. I don't know, I had to turn into, like, a little song. But it's true, you have to, like, wish for change to begin to make it happen. You have to wish for change, you have to dream of how you make that change, and then you have to manifest and make that change. And I love this. It's all good. It's all good.
I wish it were different, of course.
Our whisper weed.
Arden, can you hear me? Have you met with the people of Eulmore and Rocktika?
Yes.
Excellent. Then we may proceed to the next phase of the plan without worry. Beck-Luke has informed me that the tower is ready, so make for Araeng at your leisure. I've arranged for you to rendezvous with Cassad en route as well. Not only can he take you to the site of the flood, but he will also know where best to place the transmitters, given his familiarity with the role between the Crystarium and Araeng.
Route. Wow, reading is hard sometimes.
He'll be in Twine on business shortly, so I've asked him to wait for you there. It's all coming together. To Twine, then.
Yeah, I mean, this region that we're headed to definitely has a lot of light ether still to spare at this point. And that's a big part of, I mean, how even that region might recover, honestly, so.
Zero's pessimism notwithstanding, we will pray for her world. Take care, my friend, and tell Master Matoya that she's ever in our hearts.
Oh, I'll tell her. You got more flowers you want me to give her? I'll do it. Okay, let's continue. I do not remember what voice I gave Cassard way back when, so he gets a new voice.
Ah, your timing couldn't be better, Arden. I've just finished up my business here. Lena has told me all. It would be my pleasure to take you to Araeng. As soon as the other helpers arrive, that is. They're supposed to be along any moment now.
Who is this? Generic voice, Arden. It really is you. Oh, look!
We understand you are faced with quite a predicament, and when an esteemed customer is in need, the merchants of Mordsuk are eager to provide.
The captain bade us assist you, miss, to ensure that light is delivered to the Crystarium. Members of our guard will place transmitters in Lakeland, and the good people of Mordsuk will do likewise in the Hills of Amber. You need but focus on your own task in Naboth Araeng.
Yet more people clamoring to help you. It'd almost be more surprising if they hadn't shown up. If everyone is ready, then let's get to work. Wait!
I was wondering if this group was gonna show up.
You hid into Naboth Araeng and didn't think to call on us.
Well, most of our Talos are still in a sorry state. We've spared no effort in maintaining the trolley. We've even upgraded it, as a matter of fact. It's faster than ever, and can deliver you to Naboth Araeng in no time at all.
After everything you've done for us, we can't just stand idly by. Thancred would never let us hear the end of it.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Zero's like, even more of them. They're everywhere. Just people forever. Oh, just everywhere. I mean, yeah, for the amount of time that we spent dealing with the trolley in this zone, which, I love you, Shadowbringers, but probably one of my least favorite parts. Very boring. Very boring. You had some real amazing moments. You had some of my favorite moments in gaming, but I was kind of hoping we never had to hear about the trolley ever again. But you know, it's alright. We're bringing it full circle.
I dare say we have ample help. Come, let's go and acquire our light.
Let's get in that trolley and go!
So this is the flood of light.
Voiced! Okay! I mean, it does seem like a pretty important cutscene.
I don't remember much of the time when darkness consumed the 13th. Just the cold and the emptiness.
Zero? Are you alright?
Zero's having flashbacks to the war.
I'm fine.
Do you need a hug? Get you in these armies. Get you right in here. I'll warm you right up.
You're the one who stopped this.
Oh, no. That was the first Oracle of Light, Minfilia. She's since left us, but I inherited her power and legacy.
I see. Let's get started then, shall we?
That would have been a really cool moment to get to, like, play, do an instance with, almost. Like, coming to the first as Minfilia, and then, like, running through the city as this wave came at you and all the people were fleeing and all. That would be so cool. Like, they could honestly do a whole, either a show about all kinds of stuff, which, you know, there's been rumors about there being a Final Fantasy XIV show for so long, but they could also honestly just release a series of various, I don't know, like miniature adventures set within the world of the game, or stuff that we didn't get to see and fully realize, like dynamic cutscenes because of whatever limitations. This zone, like the stuff that you do here, I feel like kind of does it a bit of a disservice in that I almost wish that like the whole zone had just been the remnants of the city. Almost like Pompeii, where you could see like the remnants of life and people that had lived there, and the, like, you know, ashes or the whatever remained of them, right? Caught in this moment of destruction or terror. And like actually have had kind of a flash of all the different memories and stuff as you went through the city and like relived that event and what happened. And Minfilia and her role in it, because we get a bit of it, but it always felt like that should have really been the kind of showpiece of this whole zone, as opposed to like going down into the mine and the cart and everything else. Like, I want to just dump all of that and instead just have it be this exploration of like the city and the flashbacks of the past and the echoes of what remained, or I don't know. There was a lot of potential with it, and it's really chilling to think about now in retrospect too. That's so huge. So they have to like trail these all the way back to the Crystal Tower? That feels like that's a pretty big distance.
The other transmitters are set. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, just siphon it right out of that rock. There we go. Oh, there's like a little, like a crevice in there almost.
Such radiant light. It's almost too much for one steeped in darkness like me.
You gave me a big hug. I already told you. I'm just gonna take a picture of Zero. Looked cool there.
Whatever may have happened in the past, you're still here, Zero. Alive. What you couldn't do yesterday, you might still do today.
A friend? A friend from their past?
If this power were mine to wield.
What? Okay, I do know Zero is a paladin. I do know that, but I was already theorizing that.
Not to darkness.
Is this Zero's paladin transformation? What is this?
Zero!
Is Zero okay? Seems like we should have given that some thought.
She's taken light into herself.
But she's also got darkness in there.
Her
Like,
body
she is
struggles to
half void,
contain
but, like,
it. She needs help.
What is going on? Oh, that was Euless. Thank you, Sander, in the chat. Thank you. You okay?
Thank goodness. How do you feel?
Better now, I think.
Okay. So in Zero's domain, because there's a statue of the paladin, since we literally went there in the earlier playthrough, I have been like, that's Zero's paladin. Are they trying to make a parallel? Because, you know, Meteor was paladin and Endwalker, so again, the whole shard theory. But either way, I mean, we saw as well in the flashbacks previously that Zero wielded a sword and shield, which would be paladin. So I guess that's the only spoiler I have of 6.5, which is that I do believe it gets confirmed that Zero is a paladin. But I'm like so curious about how this would be and like what these themes could mean even for future classes and stuff in the game. Like, again, we've seen earth magic, air magic, fire, ice, right? But like light and dark, we've only seen in very like select cases, and even for things like black mage, right? They don't have a ton of spells. You've got lightning, but again, it's not like we're seeing astral, umbral, light, dark specifically. So there's a lot of interesting potential with classes that might use that as a power source in some way, shape, or form. And I'm very curious about what's gonna happen with Zero here. Transformation time. I see in the chat Cecil parallels. Yes, yes.
Then you're very, very lucky. Whatever possessed you to do that?
Zero's so hot. How can anybody even stand to look at the screen when Zero's on it? How can I stand? Put your hat back on. I can't decide which is hot or hat on, hat off. Just both good.
I had to know if I could command the light. If I could change my fate. Once, I would never have dared to dream it. But your friendship and your trust has helped me to see new possibilities. In myself and everything else.
The way she stumbled over friendship. Aww.
Perhaps that's why, when I beheld this world once damned yet saved, I saw the potential for mine to be saved as well. To become a world where light and darkness are in harmony, and life flourishes. A world where we're not consumed by insatiable hunger, but filled with hope for what we might create together.
One day,
If
2
I had the
expansions from
strength,
now.
Perhaps I could make such a dream reality. Perhaps I could awaken us from this endless nightmare. That's what possessed me.
She tried.
If that's your heartfelt desire, then you mustn't be afraid to share it. There was a time when I lacked the courage. To voice my desires was to burden those I love, or so I convinced myself. But then I met those who believed in me. They helped me to believe in myself, and find the strength to live.
It's so cute. Look at all these lessons just painted forward.
And so long as I'm alive, I know that I'll be fine. No matter how dire things seem, no matter where I am. To be able to think that brought me peace. And it's a blessing I owe entirely to my friends.
Those who believe in us. I will remember your words. I know all too well that there's a limit to what we can achieve alone.
I gently touched Zero's face, and then I screenshot it.
As a friend, I'd like to help you fulfill your dream. If you wish to take in more light, I can keep the power in check and help your body accept it.
Oh! Okay! Okay! Interesting! I mean, this is very interesting. I'm so curious. Alright, 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 alright. It worked well enough for me.
Ah, yes. You mentioned having to absorb light. That you still live is proof of her ability. Right then. I'm counting on you.
Go light mode! Or gray mode. Light and dark? Aw, there's also like such a symbolic poetry here.
Here I go.
Oh my gosh, so many things are happening in my mind right now and I love it. Like the symbolic poetry of Minfilia standing here to turn back the Wall of Light, right? Sacrificing everything of herself when she was like absorbed into Hydaelyn, right? Becoming this facet of Hydaelyn, which, I mean, again, it wasn't this like malicious, malevolent thing. And in some ways, like, obviously she must have accepted and welcomed and the opportunity to be able to do this, even if her life was no longer truly her own. But like, to lose her whole identity and then sacrifice in many ways, like the identities of all the young women that would be reborn in her stead, to continue to try to do this. And then to have this full circle moment where like we don't see an agent of the light standing in front of the wall turning it back, but instead we see this like world that has been saved by its people, and we see the bearer of that legacy who chose to live for herself and chose to believe in herself. Like, what a gorgeous full circle moment for Reen, and also like the themes of all of this, to like now see this energy being repurposed to like bring balance elsewhere under the volition and support of like the individual people that are like fighting for the things that they love, without, you know, gods, you know, stripping them of agency or all this other stuff. But I love seeing how this one location has held so many layers of the symbolism for like all of these different moments, not to mention like Thancred as well coming here, and obviously Reen choosing whether or not she would continue on as herself or continue on in the legacy of Minfilia in like roundabout this spot, right? But the choice to sort of take our destinies into our own hands, and then with the support and help of those around us, to do it, like to make it happen. It's really lovely. I really like how they've set this. How you feel?
I can feel it. The light's warmth welling within me.
You feel okay? You feel fine?
Then I believe it worked.
With this power, I will return to the void and fight for the world that once was, and for those I hold dear.
Good job! Good job, everybody!